Looking for something to read? If you like romance, romantasy, series, danmei, or LGBTQ novels, here you have a wide selection to choose from and get you on a roll. So let's start with my 2024 must-read. There was one book who got into my 5 stars club, making it the best of the best. Coincidentally, it was released during 2024. It's the conclusion to Rebecca Ross' Letters of Enchantment series. I'm talking about Ruthless Vows. In this story, there's a war between gods where the humans are more or less their foot soldiers. Among them, you'll find a pair of reporters eager to inform what's happening on the fronts. Rival colleagues who, unbeknownst to them, start exchanging encouraging letters through a magical wardrobe. Sparks will fly, but it will take courage, love, and sacrifice for their romance to survive. Highlights. Here you'll find beautiful writing, an emotional and moving story, the power of true love in action, and strong characters. As it is a sequel, you'll need to check out the first book, Divine Rivals, as well. Before we continue, if you watched some of my previous videos and enjoy them, I want to ask you the favor of clicking the subscribe button. It would help this channel grow and produce better and better episodes. Are you on? Thank you so much. Now moving to my top romantasy novels, I had a year with a lot of serious beginnings, but these were my best 4.
Wake up, I'm about to shake up every little...
Red Queen. If you haven't read Red Rising, you won't have any interference to enjoy this story. In here, the commoners with red blood want better life conditions. On the opposite spectrum, the magical elite of the silver-blooded amass the power, riches, and opportunities. Then comes Mare Barrow with a mixed blood, or at least with powers, threatening the status quo. A battle of wills, who's ally, who's foe, and a love triangle in the way. Highlights. Interesting twists. My next pick is Wings of Ink. This was my first involvement with a Crow Fey, so we have a once pirate turned prisoner turned soon-to-be bride to the Crow King. However, many is at stake, and soon the relationship will face deadly challenges, separations, violence, and more. This is a story with curses, secrets, bargains, conspiracies, and wild magic. Highlights. Intriguing premise and creatures. This book is part of Angelina Steffer's metaverse, Alcunair. Also, note that the series has been gradually depleting from the second book onward. Next is Nectar of the Wicked. A changeling wants to return to Fairy to understand her origins. She'll meet a fairy king who promises what she wants in exchange for marriage. Things are not as simple though. She'll live an excruciating experience from beginning to end. Once an innocent flower, now a tortured blooming tree. Highlights? It almost got into my 5 stars club. I liked the cunning strategizing and the heartfelt experience it evoked. That said, the second book and final book to this series wasn't that much to my liking. And to end this category, I bring you Atonement of the Spinecleaver, a debut with a deadly game and a born killer whose atrocious former actions will force her to atone if she wants to find allies and survive. This was a story with some mishaps, but a lot of potential. I'm excited to read the sequel when the time comes.
Fireflies in the yard, everything's a work of art. Already got everything we need to dance in the...
We've covered fantasy romance, but what about romance alone? There were 2 novels worth selecting for this list. First, there's Ready or Not. When your best friend's relationship gets messy, it's your bestest brother who steps in. Because you'll certainly need some help and support when you get an unexpected pregnancy. Don't you agree? And who doesn't like when distance and time can't break a couple's chance to love? Funny story. This book is a tongue twister of a story. When someone ends with their ex-fiance's new fiance's ex, everything can happen, right? You'll find many favorite tropes in here as well. fake relationship, forced romance, heartbreak, and second chances, and a journey to self discovery. When you combine Emily Henry and a plot involving books, you get her best writing. Simple as that. It's the tone for series. Most of them are ongoing series. Let's check them out. I started this category with a personal favorite. I can't tell you how anxious I am to read its conclusion. I'm talking about Fey Spy Academy, a series written by C.N. Crawford and Alex Rivers. A human world invaded by the Fae. A woman trying to enjoy her vacations in France, only to be interrupted by a demi-fae rescue mission, reuniting with her ex, and being forced to become a spy. This is Nia's new reality. However, along the way, she'll discover truths about herself that will put her back against the wall. She'll have to play a dangerous game within ally and enemy lines. What I liked about it, apart from being an interesting reinterpretation of King Arthur's legend, are the exciting twists, intrigue, and love affairs. Moving on, we have Tanglewood University, another series now concluded whose captivated me Skyward style. It's her characteristic dark romance story, with age gaps, rough and passionate encounters, and parallel case to solve. Inspired in Shakespeare, there's a secret society ruling the city. There's also a professor and a student involved in a forbidden relationship. Mix these and you'll get suspense, violence, vices, sex, heartbreak, secret plots, and more. Highlights. Well, everything you need from love to rough sex to drama to conspiracies. And now, two series who've raised a lot of hype: the Powerless Trilogy and the Shepherd King duet. In Lauren Roberts' saga, the Hunger Games strike again. The elite with power against the ordinaries with none, in a battle of lies and pain. This is a story where injustice, secrets, and betrayal prevail. What I highlight is how the author was unafraid of unleashing what the story demanded, even if it meant making us witness unfair and painful death. Now, Rachel Gillick's duet will take you to a world of unique magic and darkness. A woman with a nightmarish monster in her head joins a quest to save the world from evil. Magic comes with a price, though. She might become the monster she fears she is. You'll find that secondary characters had a crucial participation in this story, a risky but interesting move. LGBTQ plus novels. I read a lot of books that fall in this box. Here are my top 5. A Tale of Royals, Conspiracies, Love, and the Ups and Downs of Friendship. This is mainly a male-to-male romance. It's worth noting that you can learn more about the world and some characters' backgrounds in the author's former series, Cursebreakers. Here's a beautiful tale where a young woman will connect with her ancestry through her magic and affinity to plants. However, she'll also face some enemies, but she won't be alone. This is a female-to-female fandom story. Definitely a curious, entertaining, and surprising young adult story. I finally got to read this book. It sat on my TBR for a long time. So two royals find their way together where once was enmity. One is the son of the President of the United States. The other is the youngest prince of the English royalty. Forced to coexist, they'll join forces to overcome society barriers and prove love can come in all shapes and colors. A book worth its hype with deep society issues to reflect upon. And I end this book selection with a genre I got to know and read a lot since 2024, Dan May. Let me talk about Grandmaster of Demonic Cultivation 1 and Remnants of Filth 1. The former brings a beautiful story where two male cultivators will have to choose different roads due to their methods of practice, but whose secret and unknown feelings for each other will allow them to conquer any obstacle, even death. It's a very slow-burn romance, but every romantic moment is to cherish. Also, the world and magical system are captivating. Remnants of Filth showcases a anime series where two male fighters become secret lovers, but are later separated by betrayal. Their reunion won't be as anyone could have expected. There are many things to uncover and past wounds to heal. It's worth mentioning that the first book almost got into my 5 stars club. So, that's a wrap! From 2024 releases to books on my to-be read list whose turn had come, here are my 2024 recommendations in Romance and Romantasy. If you found this video useful, let me know in the comments or share your best books of 2024. Thank you for watching! See you soon!
Dance until we drop and the good times don't stop.
I was recently introduced to a Fey who could shift into a crab, and I